Hi everyone, this is Avalon from Crafts Direct, and in this video I will be showing you how you can make an ocean resin frame. It has the word ocean in the title of this project because the colors really reminded me of the ocean. And I used some opaque dye in this project, and so I got to layer the colors and drop them into the resin and pour them into the mold, and that was really cool. I loved doing that and watching it. So follow along and I will show you step by step how you can make this resin frame. Once you have your workspace set up and you have proper ventilation, you will then label your small cups with an R and an H for resin and the hardener. You want to label your cups so that you can use them again and so that you know which substance goes into what cups. You will then want to put on your gloves. This is super important because this resin stuff is no joke. It is super sticky and pretty permanent, so make sure you have your drop cloth and your gloves on. You will then take your resin and fill up the cup labeled with an R, and you're going to fill it up pretty much all the way to the top. You will then do the same with the hardener, and it's really important that you pour equal parts resin and hardener. So I like to have the cups really close side by side, and I even like to get eye level with it to make sure that I'm pouring equal amounts. Next, you will pour the resin and the hardener into a larger cup. Doesn't matter which ones go first, you just want both of them into the cup. And you will then begin to stir for 3 minutes. And it's important that you stir very slowly because when you stir faster, you're going to create more air bubbles. And I know I really like to rush when I stir, so I have to really think about stirring very slowly. It may feel like a very long 3 minutes, but this is an important step. After those 3 minutes are up, you will notice that your resin and hardener now look like almost one liquid. You don't see any streaks, it's somewhat clear. And then you're just going to set it aside for 5 to 10 minutes. I find that this helps kind of pop some of the bubbles. And then after that, you are going to put a heat gun, just add a little bit of heat to the top of the resin. This also helps pop some of those bubbles. Next is the fun part where you are going to add your dyes to the resin. I used 2 different colored blues and a white, and I just dropped in the dyes to the top of the resin. Didn't mix it in at all, just kind of layered the colors, and so that's really up to you and what colors you want more of. But you will add those in and layer them before you start to pour into your mold. When you pour in the resin, try your best to get it as even as possible. Make sure that the resin completely covers the bottom of the mold, and just try to get it to be somewhat even. And you then can pick up your mold and move it back and forth to redistribute some of the colors, some of the resin, to have it lay a little bit more flat and even. Next, you will repeat all of the same steps that we had just done before, where you will mix up some resin and hardener again, mix it for 3 minutes slowly, and then add your dyes and again pour that resin over the top. You may need to do this 2 or 3 times, just depending on how much resin and hardener you're using. And you just want to make sure that you fill the mold up all the way to the top. Once your mold is filled all the way to the top with resin and the paint is laying how you want it to be, the colors look right, you will then take a heat gun and add some heat to the top and to the sides of the frame. This helps pop some of the bubbles in the resin. I decided last minute that this frame needed a little sparkle, so I used these natural flakes to just add to the top of the frame. So I just sprinkled them in, and then I took my stir stick and just kind of moved it all about how I wanted it to look. And then once again, I went back and added some heat to it using the heat gun. You will then set aside your frame to cure, and you will let it sit for about 24 hours. Once it is cured, you then can pull it out of the mold, and if you need, you can sand down any of the edges. Then after that, all that is left is for you to add your own photo and display. Thank you so much for watching this video. All that is left is for you to add your picture and the back of the frame so that you can display it in your home. You can shop all of the products used for this project at craftsdirect.com/projects.